Guys, so today I'm coming to you with yet another requested video. Thank you guys so much for making all of these requests. It really does help me out, and I really like helping you guys out as well. I feel, give something back to you for watching all these videos. So thank you so much for that. So today we are going to be covering the ability for you to actually adjust the FPS with the GHK conversion kit. Now, when you're installing the gun and you get the kit, you get this sheet of paper which goes over a few modifications that you may or may not need to do. One of them, you're not going to be able to see that, but it does say trim the front bolt carrier as gold area when velocity goes too low or unable to fire. That's pretty bad English, but regardless of the fact, basically what they're telling you to do is the bolt carrier, if you don't already know, the barrel seems to like to stick. Go ahead and take it out as well. But the bolt carrier, if you don't know, is this bit here that rides back and forth. And well, I guess it's more or less the bolt, and what they're talking about is this surface right here. Now, essentially what they do from the factory is they leave it longer than it needs to be, and there's a reason for this. The reason being is because since it's designed to go into a bunch of different gun bodies, they all have slightly different specifications on this lip right here as far as how deep that is in relation to the barrel. See if I have a better pointer here. This might work a little bit better. This surface right here, right at the end of the red tip, it's not very well lit up, but basically that's the surface that the bolt hits when it closes. And essentially what you're doing is you're allowing the bolt to go further forward and make a better seal against the barrel. Now, so I mentioned in a comment that you could adjust the FPS, and this is basically all you're doing to make it higher. And there is a cap because you can only seal it so well, and you don't want to take off too much because this is preventing it from going way too far into the hop up and ruining stuff. So be careful how much you take off. But essentially what you're doing is you're just taking a file and you're just filing down the surface until it's the right specification. Now, a little bit goes a long way. A few strokes from a metalworking file, this metal is very, very soft, so a few strokes from a metalworking file is all it takes to increase the FPS by like over, maybe 25 or 30 or higher, depending. And remember, since these are gas guns, they're very temperature dependent, so the amount of the pressure that the gas is at will change depending on the temperature. So it might shoot only 350 when it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, that is outside, but when it's 100 degrees it might shoot 420 for all you know. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, you can lower the FPS in the same fashion, except you have to add material, and that's a bit more tricky. Usually what I would say as far as adding materials, to take strips of like electrical tape or some very, very strong tape, taking very, very small strips and putting it over the surface right here that it's hitting. And that's probably not a very good permanent solution, but really any way to add material there, you could probably use epoxy or something like that. But it's a lot harder to add material than remove it. And then the other alternative is not even messing with this. Now, as far as the engagement with the actual the hop up and stuff, if that's too loose, then you're never going to get a good FPS no matter what you do. But they do sell different bolts for different velocities, and essentially I guess this would technically be the bolt carrier because the bolt would be the bit inside this, but I'm not going to take it apart. But essentially what they do is they have different velocity bolts for sale. Basically it's a different shape, and it goes, if I ever decide to get a higher velocity one, I'll show you how to install it. But essentially what it is basically a different shaped piece of metal. It's kind of hard to describe the piece that's in here, but you can kind of see it through there. But basically there's just a piece of metal that directs, that controls how much of the gas is directed back for the blowback and how much is directed towards the BB. Essentially, it just changes the ratio, and you can get, I think it comes pre-installed with the middle velocity or medium velocity, which I think is around 420, and then there's a high velocity and a low velocity. I think the low velocity is like 350 and the higher one maybe 450, I don't know. But it also depends on, you know, your barrel and your hop up and your BBs and all that other sorts of stuff, and to some extent the gas that you're using, but not the temperature, more or less. So more than the gas itself, propane and green gas will yield similar results, but it's the temperature at which they're at. But anyway, so that's about it for changing the velocity. There's a few ways of doing it. I'm sure that if you don't want to spend extra money on something, it's for like a different bolt entirely, that you could probably modify the one that comes with in some way. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but yeah, the instructions say to shave this bit down to increase the velocity, but you don't want to do it too much, as I mentioned, because I would imagine that if this is going in there too far, that could really do a number on your hop up bucking. And also, it's not, I mean, it'll go, you know, it'll only go a certain distance forward. Like, as you can see how this is, as I push this back a little bit, it'll only, you know, go to the front of the bolt carrier. So if you did shave it down too much, you're just going to be putting a lot more wear on this bit of, I guess it's probably nylon or polymer that is the case, and that would eventually crack. So there's a reason why they have this bit sticking out here. But anyway, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Very short and just kind of me talking about this. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you. Make sure to stay safe. Always wear eye protection, all that good stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have a very nice day.